Everywhere you look, it seems like love comes easily. Yet behind the screens, countless Muslim women are quietly asking the same question. Why can't I find my soulmate? It's not because you're unwilling. You make sincere prayers, you meet people, but somehow, things never fall into place. There are real reasons why so many sisters today struggle to find their soulmate. Reasons that are painful, but fixable. And once you recognize them, you'll realize that God hasn't overlooked you. He's simply waiting for one change before sending you the person already written for you. Let's talk about why so many Muslim women today can't find their soulmate. Unrealistic standards. One of the biggest reasons many sisters can't find a soulmate isn't that good men have disappeared, but that the definition of a good man has been shaped by the wrong measures. Imagine this. A brother visits for a proposal. He's respectful, prays regularly, has a steady job. He's not perfect, but his character is solid. Then he leaves, and the murmurs begin. He's kind, but his salary isn't high. He's not tall. He doesn't have the lifestyle your cousin's husband provides. Suddenly, sincerity and faith take a back seat, and the proposal is dismissed because it didn't meet the superficial checklist. It's not that sisters don't value faith. They do. But society has piled on hundreds of filters. Now it's not just about piety. It's piety plus height, plus income, plus looks, plus whether he resembles the polished men on social media. You see it everywhere. A cousin marries a doctor, and suddenly, everyone compares. A friend gets engaged to someone abroad, and you start worrying that you'll seem less if you choose someone simpler. At weddings, people don't ask about the groom's character. They talk about the car he arrived in, the size of the venue, the gold on display. And little by little, those small standards turn into barriers. Years go by, and good brothers with sincerity and character are overlooked because they didn't look like an influencer or fit a fantasy crafted by culture and the internet. The painful truth is that many women later admit, maybe I didn't reject the wrong men. Maybe I rejected real ones for imaginary ones. That's the hidden test, not realizing until much later that love wasn't missed because God didn't send it, but because society blinded us to how it truly appears. Materialism and family pressure. Sometimes, even when a sister herself is ready to marry someone sincere, her own family becomes the biggest barrier. Not because the brother lacks faith or morals, but because of money, image, and status. How many stories begin this way? A genuine brother comes with a clean heart and good intentions. He prays, works, and lives responsibly. He's not rich, but stable. The sister feels comfortable with him, but soon the conversation changes. How much mahr will he offer? How grand will the wedding be? What will people say if it's not lavish enough? And just like that, the proposal is turned away, not because of who he is, but because of what he can't provide. This is the quiet heartbreak of our time. Parents delaying their daughter's marriage, waiting for a man with a higher income. Families measuring worth not by character, but by the size of a gold set. Sisters left behind as opportunities fade because their price was set too high for sincerity to reach. Weddings have become competitions. One cousin books a luxury hall, so the next family feels they must outdo it. The bride's wishes get buried beneath family pride. The focus shifts from marriage to performance, from building a home to impressing guests. And the saddest truth? Many women later whisper, I would have been happy with a small wedding. I would have been happy with a modest mahr. But my family said no. By the time realization comes, years have passed, and regret follows. Sincerity was turned away, and nothing of real value replaced it. Faith made marriage simple. We made it heavy and costly. And now, we sit wondering why so many women can't find the person written for them. Fear of commitment after pain. For many sisters, it's not that they don't want to marry. It's that somewhere along the way, their trust was shattered. Maybe it was an engagement that collapsed. Families met, plans were set, dreams built, and then it all fell apart. Everyone else moved on, but she's still carrying the fear. What if it happens again? What if I face the same shame twice? Or maybe it wasn't an engagement, but broken promises. A man who spoke of marriage, who claimed to be serious, who pulled her heart close, only to vanish when it was time to commit. Now, every time someone new appears, his shadow follows. She replays his lies, even when the new man has done nothing wrong. And for others, fear grew from childhood. Watching their parents' fights, witnessing divorces around them, they whisper to themselves, "What if my marriage ends the same way? What if I end up trapped in what I've always feared?" From the outside, people label her picky. They say she's rejecting good men without reason. But the truth is, it's not arrogance. It's the quiet defense of someone still healing from wounds she didn't deserve. It's not arrogance. It's fear. Fear of being hurt once more. Fear of opening her heart again. Fear of trusting someone who could break her all over. That fear quietly builds a wall. Every proposal feels uncertain. Every chance seems too risky. And time keeps passing, not because she chose to wait, but because her pain never healed enough to let her say yes. If this feels like your story, understand this. Your fear is real, but it's not your ending. God is the mender of hearts, and He can restore your story better than before. But if you want to find your true partner, you can't stay married to your fear. You have to surrender that fear back to God. The endless talking stage, one of the most painful traps keeping women from finding a real partner, isn't a shortage of men, but wasted years. It always begins with hope. He tells you he's serious. He says, "Just give me some time. I'll involve my family soon." So you wait. A month becomes 6. 6 become 12. And each time you bring it up, the atmosphere changes. Why are you rushing? Just trust me. But trust without effort becomes delay, and delay turns into emotional damage. You start to see the pattern. He calls when he's lonely but vanishes when you need assurance. He gives you timelines, then replaces them with new ones. After exams, after the job, after he travels. But every after leads to another, and your years slowly fade in waiting mode. The hardest part is you stop feeling chosen. You feel placed on hold. Your heart sits in a waiting room for a future that never arrives. Real love was never meant to stay hidden. Marriage is meant to be clear, honorable, and timely. When someone truly has good intentions for you, they don't keep you in the dark or on standby. They take steps, even if slow, even if imperfect, they move forward. So if your story feels like an endless pause instead of steady progress, maybe that waiting isn't love taking its time. Maybe it's God protecting you from losing more years to someone who is never coming. Sometimes the delay in marriage doesn't come from others. It comes from your own calendar. It begins with a logical reason. After I graduate. You focus, you work hard, telling yourself marriage would only distract you. Graduation comes, and another goal appears. After I get the job. The first year passes in a blur. New team, new demands, new goals. Suddenly, it's year 2. After the promotion, then after I travel, then after I save more. Quietly, time speeds past your plans. Sometimes it's not even you. It's those who love you. Not yet, they say. Finish your degree, then we'll discuss marriage. Find someone who matches your level. The list gets longer. Income, city, status, and potential partners are filtered out because timing never seems perfect. You're not against marriage. You're not rejecting good men on purpose. Life just kept serving the next milestone, while marriage kept waiting in later. But there's a hidden cost. Each time you postpone, it gets heavier. Opportunities narrow, hearts harden, fear grows. You start to feel like you missed a train you always planned to catch. This isn't about giving up your dreams. Build, learn, travel, succeed. But if marriage is part of your faith and your life vision, it can't survive forever in the after column. There's no flawless moment where work pauses, emotions stabilize, family aligns, and risk disappears. Real life doesn't offer perfect timing. It rewards honest priorities. If this feels like you, make one shift. Stop treating marriage as a distraction and start treating it as a foundation to plan around. That could mean telling your family respectfully, I'm open to serious proposals while I continue my career. It might mean saying yes to a genuine man, even if the wedding is simple and the first home is modest. It might mean choosing a path where you grow in both, your future and your faith, without waiting for a pause that will never come. You don't need to rush. You just need to stop hiding behind perfect timing. Later keeps moving. Intention is a choice. And finally, after all the searching, after countless meetings and disappointments, many women reach the same question. Why can't I find my soulmate? The truth most won't say aloud is that sometimes we've looked everywhere except toward God. We sit with families comparing resumes, but we never pray for guidance. We cry to friends over heartbreaks, but never lift our hands to the sky. Parents search through networks, yet the scripture stays closed. We knock on every door except the one who unlocks them. It's not about being flawless. Nobody here is perfect. But if your heart feels blocked, if every path feels heavy, maybe it's because God is holding it back, waiting for you to turn to Him first. Your soulmate isn't missing because he forgot you. They're held back because He knows your heart isn't ready yet. Marriage was never meant to be only a social arrangement. It was always a spiritual journey. And the one who truly desires a life partner must begin their search in prayer, not just through screens and profiles. Because in the end, soulmates aren't found through dating apps, family status, or online appearances. They're already written in destiny by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. When you understand that, everything changes. You stop chasing with fear and start waiting with peace. And maybe that's what all of this was meant to teach you. These reflections aren't here to make you feel flawed or to convince you that marriage is out of reach. They're here to help you see why the road has felt so heavy, and to remind you that even the weight itself can be a form of divine protection. Because at the end of the day, your partner isn't chosen by society or by perfect profiles or ceremonies. They're chosen by God. And when He writes something for you, no obstacle can stop it. No delay can erase it. No rejection can undo it. The prophet once said, "You will never give up something for the sake of God, except that He will replace it with something better." Maybe that's why certain people didn't stay. Not because you weren't enough, but because God was protecting you from less so He could bless you with more. So if you've listened to all this and thought, that's me, I've made mistakes, I've lost years, I've waited too long, don't let those thoughts turn into despair. God doesn't withhold to punish, He delays to prepare. Every sincere repentance resets your story, and every prayer opens a new path. And if you're afraid that you've missed your chance, remember this: God never misses. What's meant for you will reach you, not early, not late, but precisely when you're ready to receive it. Your purpose isn't to chase in panic. It's to trust, to grow, and to keep your heart connected to Him. So leave this message lighter, not heavier, not thinking, it will never happen for me, but knowing with certainty, it will happen exactly when it's meant to. May God bless every woman with patience, clarity, and a righteous partner who brings peace, not pain. May He open the right doors, close the wrong ones, and fill every step with blessing. And if you've made it this far, write in the comments: may God grant us partners who bring us closer to Him. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Someone you care about might need this reminder today. Peace and blessings be upon you.